All right, we're here in Barcelona inside the courtyard at the Sant Jordi Club, site of the Freakest Challenge for 2020. Joined now by the second fittest man on earth, Noah Ohlsen. How you doing, bud?
I'm quite well.
Yeah.
It's good to be out here in Barcelona.
Yeah.
I just actually found out that this has something to do with like the Olympic grounds as well.
Yeah. So
It's
just
pretty cool.
just outside for everyone that's watching at home, this is like kind of the Olympic Park, if you will. We on the
Cool.
way in, we both saw on the bus ride here. We got to see the Olympic Stadium with the cauldron and everything like
Yeah,
that.
lots of history.
Yeah, lots of history, and now it's hosting some of the fittest people on earth.
Maybe this will be historic
Yeah,
someday. Who
yeah,
knows?
you never know. I noticed new year, new hairdo.
New
What's
year,
up, what's
new
up
me.
with that?
Yeah, I don't know. It was actually inspired by a friend back home, Alan. One day I showed up to the gym and he was like, "We got to do something with your hair. Like it's time for a change." And I went home and it had just like implanted itself inside of my brain. And I thought, what change should we go for?
Uh-huh.
And I happened to, in that moment, see a picture of James Newberry with some dreadlocks on his head. And I thought, you know what? Let's go for that.
Uh-huh.
So I'm on my way to dreadlocks potentially, but the fiance, Joanne, recently said, I was on board for the dreadlocks. Now I'm not so sure. And so that may change. But right now we're just going with the flow, no pun intended.
Yeah, all right. Got a
We'll
little salad on top.
Yeah.
Happy
See what
future wife,
happens.
happy life. So
Yes, that's what they say.
I could feel you on that.
For sure.
And do you feel like now that you're podium athlete, you got to kind of switch it up, maybe reinvent yourself fashion wise?
I don't know. No, I mean I want to be the same old me, but it's cool to be able to maybe just be more confident in general with who I am and what I've accomplished. So not as critical of the way I look or the things that I do as I would have been in the past.
Yeah, and that kind of touches on what I wanted to ask you next is, since making the podium, how has maybe your outlook on yourself as an athlete or maybe how you approach the sport kind of shifted now that you've accomplished one of the goals that you've set out for yourself?
Yeah, I think that, the only goal left, I know you have said it in a video back in the day. I remember a clip from regionals where he said he's won the Open, he's won regionals, all he's got to do now is win the games. And the goal just below that was to get on the podium at the games. So literally the one thing left to do is win the CrossFit Games. And I think now that I've been able to be that close and in a position where it was right there, I think definitely gave me the confidence that it was possible. I always wanted to believe, I think as an athlete, you have to try to convince yourself that it's possible. Otherwise, what's the point of competing if you're just not believing the whole time? So now that I've been close, I do truly believe, I know that it's within my grasp. And I think that it has made me want to train hard and with no regrets. Because if I knew it was possible, and I got so close and then I kind of just got content with where I was at and called it quits, I think I'd always regret that.
Yeah.
So I was happy that I finished in second, but still hungry to try to get up there in first.
Totally. And how else outside of maybe the gym has life changed for you since making the podium? I know, whether it's, your personal life and, the confidence from achieving a goal, sometimes it can accelerate a lot of different things for athletes. And I don't know if that's been the case for you or has anything changed?
Yeah. Now that I'm a millionaire, totally kidding. No, honestly, not much has changed since the games. I think some people expected that, like, man, you got a lot of publicity, you almost won the games. And as big as I think we all want CrossFit to be, it's still relatively niche. So it wasn't like the outside world now recognized me and there's this big spike in fame and opportunity and all that. It's I'm still the same old me, and maybe my platform has grown a little bit, and that excites me because I can do more with that, like figure out more ways to give back and change the scope of what I want my legacy to be within the sport.
Totally. And this is actually going to be a question that I was going to touch on later, but you kind of mentioned it here.
Let's go.
As far as scope and more so what your legacy within the sport and community is concerned, what do you envision for yourself in that regard? What do you hope your lasting impact on the community, maybe the sport, is?
Yeah, it's funny because it's taking shape probably more so now as I've grown. And I don't know what it used to be. I think I just wanted to win for the sake of winning.
Yeah.
And now it's cool to start to see I'm kind of just at this point being me, and to see how that's interpreted by the public. And I feel like I've kind of become a figure of positivity and niceness, and I love that because I like those things a lot. So
Yeah.
if I can inspire people to be happier and to be nicer to people, then I think that's really cool. And I don't know exactly how I'll be able to do that on like a large scale. I think at a minimum, just by trying to be myself and do those things naturally, if that makes somebody else want to do that as well, or feel good, then that's a small step, and maybe that adds up to a big thing. But
Yeah.
we shall see.
Hey, I respect that. I always think that as long as you know where your endpoint is, doesn't matter how you get there.
Yeah.
You'll kind of navigate the waters as you see fit.
For sure.
But speaking of, you mentioned platforms here. We are in Spain,
Indeed.
for a pretty cool event in Barcelona. Just from a big picture perspective, how is your time here in Barcelona and the trip that's for you so far?
It's cool. I wasn't really sure what to expect. I had never been to the event before. But the event itself last night was awesome, super fun. I enjoyed that atmosphere and the team competition. I could see it being something that I would enjoy competing in myself. So I'm sure all those guys had a blast. I had a blast being part of it. It was kind of, I feel like they bring us out to kind of be brand representatives and to increase the excitement around the event. But I tried as much as I could to like let our teams shine. They've competed up to this point. They earned their spot here, and they were the ones that did all the hard work. So it almost felt weird sometimes when they'd call the team out and then they'd like increase the volume of the music and call us out. And I was like, no, these guys are the ones that are awesome. And it was just cool to be able to encourage them.
And so the Freakest Challenge was yesterday. Your team ended up walking away with the overall
W.
win. Maybe added a little bit of that Noah Ohlsen magic to it.
Maybe.
But now we're here today. So talk about a little bit about what you're doing as part of this kind of community outreach. And you mentioned giving back. I feel like what you're doing today is a little bit of giving back.
Yeah, for sure. And honestly, I probably shouldn't make or increase the awareness of my lack of understanding on what was going to happen this weekend. But I kind of showed up blind and was just here to have a good time and represent Nike in the best way that I could. And I found out when we got out here that we were going to be leading workshops. Cool. And I think that's awesome because everybody that competed yesterday or was here for the fan experience now gets to kind of come down off the high of the competition, maybe learn some things from some of us. And now perhaps is a better time for the Nike athletes to shine, right? Like yesterday was highlighting the teams, and then today we can kind of give back and showcase whatever our specialties are. Sorry.
I was going to say what's the specialty you're working on today, and what are some things you may be excited or hopeful that you're going to be able to impart on these people?
Yeah. So they paired us up. I don't think it was randomly. I'm sure it was on purpose in each little group. So there was the weightlifting group, and that was Matt and Laura, and they're both pretty good weightlifters, pretty strong themselves. And then Lauren and Willie were on the gymnastic side of things, and also both pretty darn good at that. Bijan and I were remarking last night on how Willie actually beat both Matt and I a couple years ago in the snatch bar muscle up workout at the games.
By couplet 1 and 2. Yeah,
yes,
I remember that. Yeah,
unfortunately, but he earned his right to teach gymnastics.
Yeah,
and then Sarah and Lucas are the perfect pairing for aerobic capacity stuff. And then Thuri and I are teaching mobility, which I'm a ROMWOD athlete, so I am kind of a few times a week doing something for my mobility and hope to be able to impart some of that relatively basic knowledge to everybody. I think everyone knows how to stretch and they just need to put a little structure behind it. So hopefully we can do that for them today.
Awesome. And then as far as kind of looking forward to the rest of the season, what's kind of in store for you?
The sanctioned events that I've locked in place for myself are Wodapalooza and the Rogue Invitational. I was fortunate enough to qualify for the games in the Open this year. So that kind of removes a little bit of the pressure that I felt last year to have to go travel and earn my spot. I still obviously want to perform to the best of my ability and win both of those competitions. So I'll probably do little mini peaks for each of those, try to perform the best that I can. And if there are other gaps that need to be filled throughout the season, because Wodapalooza being in February, Rogue in May, still a good bit of time either in between those or between Rogue and the games if I want that competitive edge and to see where I stack up. Yeah. There are so many options for sanctioned events. So and even if maybe Joanne and I want to go take a vacation somewhere, last minute can go sign up and compete in Italy, Australia, Rome, who knows?
Yeah, I mean, Italy was kind of a cool
Right.
moment for you guys
Yeah.
last year when you got engaged.
Reminisce.
Yeah,
Yep, for sure.
totally. And then so you've gone from being this athlete that was telling Dave Castro you're going to be out on the competition floor at regionals and maybe even the games one day to standing on the podium and becoming one of the biggest names in the sport. What's the biggest difference for you in your mind when you think about like Noah Ohlsen, the kid back in 2013, to Noah Ohlsen now?
Probably many things have changed. I think what I alluded to earlier, just having a little bit more confidence in myself has allowed me to live a better life. And I don't know if the confidence came with those accomplishments. The fact that I was able to work hard and elevate myself through the sport, perhaps that gave me more general life confidence to be who I am. But I think that it's cool that that's possible for anybody if they commit themselves to something and see themselves grow so much that they can become really comfortable in their own skin.
Yeah.
I don't know if that answered the original question, but yeah, I think that I've changed a good bit. Hopefully I'll continue to change for the better, and it leads to more growth within the sport and beyond.
Totally. Well, I have to say it's been a treat watching that growth and change. And
Thank you, my friend.
man, thanks so much for sitting down and chatting.
Same to you. Thanks, T Mark.